what's a particular funny story each of you can give that's related to game? Maybe it could be a date that went horribly wrong or something weird that happened.
So I have a
Fun.
date that went kind of wrong. It's actually my friend's date. So I was having dinner with a buddy, and then he sees us. He's like, "Hey, are you guys in this area?" I'm like, "Yeah." I have a date with me. You want to go to this bar later? And then we end up meeting at the bar, got a table, and then I was looking for him for like half an hour, and then give him a call. Hey, what happened? Where you at? He tells me he leaves. He left. And then I was like, "Hey, your date's still here though." What do I tell her? Because he's like, "Oh man, this date is so boring. I'm gonna ditch you guys. Sorry." And then ended up having to drive her back to my place. And then I just left her there. She fell asleep. This was probably like 3 a.m. in the morning now. And then I went fishing with my buddies, and this was around like 5 or 6 now. And then my friend was asking me, "Hey, what happened to that girl that was with us earlier?" I was like, "Oh shit, she's still in my place." So we rushed back, get back home at 8 o'clock. She's still there sleeping. I'm like, thank God, because I was scared that she's gonna, throw up everywhere or steal my shit. But luckily, nothing bad happened.
Nice.
Damn, I'm trying to think of which story.
Well, I had a story that happened like a couple of months back. So I DM this girl on Instagram. She's from Colorado. She's out in LA. I take I ask her on some date and I was actually catching a flight to Miami. So I was like, all right, well, I'll catch a lunch date, which I don't usually do, but I'll do a lunch date with her. And She brought a friend, which was quite interesting because usually I don't do that, but this one I kind of really screened and qualified, and that other girl was interested, and she was the one that was more interested on the day, which is quite interesting. Anyways, long story short, not what I usually do. Took her to the date, took a thing. We're hitting it off like fire. It's really, really good. I was like, damn, this is good. I might have to like change my flight. I was like, you know what? I might change my flight. So I'm in the middle of that, and then they get a FaceTime by like a person that I liked as a rapper, and like Tyga FaceTimes them. And the day was going great, and I'm like, oh motherfucker, here we go. Shit's about to go sideways. It did. He's like, yo, girl, you should come out to Mexico. I'll send the private jet for you. And I'm like, oh man, this is just going from like a fucking 9 out of 10 day. I'm in the process on Expedia changing my dates. I'm like, thank fucking Christ it happened because I didn't change my flight. Girls got super pissed they didn't have a passport. It just went downhill from there. But that was quite funny. Yeah, as that literally happened, not that long ago. So that was kind of a funny one. And again, you've been in the game so long, those things don't even bother you. They bother like the normal guy. You're just laughing. You're just like, oh man, that's a funny time.
Yeah, I say one. Well, I had this date. We on the date, everything's cool. We just talking, flirting, or whatever. And just out of the blue, the girl just starts crying uncontrollably, like tears, all that other stuff. And I'm like, and so I'm shocked. I'm like, what's going on? And I touch her shoulder to kind of like calm her down. And we were in like a low key bar where you can still hear people talking. So like when I touched her shoulder, she was like, "Get the fuck off of me!" Like really loud and shit, right? So people kind of looking like, "What the fuck?" And I'm surprised. I'm at this point I'm like nervous a little. So then she wipes her tears, then she's staring into space for like 30 seconds. And then she starts talking to me again regular. Like, just and I'm like, okay, this is weird, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just talking to her regular again, and 5 minutes later, tears start coming out. I said, listen, seems like something's going on, something's wrong. I'm gonna get you a car and you could, get you a car to go home. So she goes home and then she sends me a text, long text. Hey, I had a really great time. This is one of the best dates I've had in a while. We should get together again next week. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I just left on red and didn't respond to her. So till this day, I don't know what was going on with her. So who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Bipolar or some shit. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I was gonna say that.
So I don't
I
know.
got I got two that stand out for me. The first one was I had a flatmate who I was living with who was pretty good with chicks, and we went out to a club, and I started talking to one girl. He's talking to another. They don't know each other at all, and we end up back at my flat. We're having drinks, we're playing music, and we get a little bit merry and a little bit drowsy. And there comes a point in the night. It's about midnight, 1 in the morning, and I look at my flatmate and I was, "Where's the girls gone?" Like they disappeared. I was like, we're playing music, talking. It's like, where they've been gone a while. Like, where? So we end up opening up the bathroom door, and they're both led on the floor, half naked, licking each other's lemons. So that was that was one that's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Yeah. The second one was a holiday in Cyprus, and I'm chirping this girl all night. I'm chatting her up. There's a lot of connection. And it gets to the typical pool time, like 1 or 2 in the morning. She's like, "Do you want to come back to my hotel?" And I thought, "Yeah, why not?" It's my first night in Cyprus. So we're in the living room, we're on the sofa, and I'm banging away. And I'm like, "Why don't we go in the bedroom?" And this is like literally halfway through. So my husband's sleeping in the bedroom, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, her husband was next door, while all this is going on. And I was just like, pulled up my pants, got out of there, left. Yeah, those are my 2 strange stories about that.
Yeah, damn.
Damn. These girls, bro. Fuck, Ice, you've stolen all my. You keep asking me for stories. All right, I'll give you a consent story. All right, real exciting. Essentially, I had met these 2 South American girls, separately. One was Cold Approach, one was Tinder, or like fuck buddies essentially. And so I set up a threesome with both of them. I thought, okay, I think they'll get along. This will be fun. It'll be cool. And like every fucking threesome that you set up, the 2 girls spend the first half an hour just like chatting, getting along. These 2 girls are actually now best friends, like they live together. And it's always the case. You put the girls together, they're worried. I think it's because they're worried about rejection from each other that they overcompensate by being like really super friendly and nice. So yeah, anyway, they get along really well. And they have a chat outside about, are we going to eat each other's pussy? Like, blah, blah, shit. Then we get into the bedroom. And one girl's like pretty inexperienced, and one girl's very experienced. And so the very experienced girl, like, she's into BDSM. So I've got her tied up and I'm got my like flogger out and I start like flogging this girl. And the inexperienced girl is looking over like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, oh my God. Because the sex with her was like it was more chill. And she's starting to get like a little bit freaked out. And then the next thing that happens is I'm like wrapping my hand around this, I'm like choking her. And the inexperienced goes, stop, 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 stop. She's like, wait, 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 wait. Like, look over. She's like, what? She looks at my girl. She's like, do you consent? Girl laying down. Yes. What do you mean? Yes. She's like, okay, I'm just checking. It's like, bro, we just start like burst out laughing. But she was like, so it's like a little kid watching a horror movie for the first time or something. But yeah, good times. There's another story for you guys.
That's fucking funny. Anyone else? I wasn't keeping track. Alrighty. I'll just like briefly throw in one. It's not that interesting, but yeah, if I remember, there was like a long story short, a woman came up to me in the club and she was with her friend, pulled them to a place I was staying at, and after uh they left, I took them to it. Well, they wanted to go to McDonald's at like 5 a.m. in the fucking morning or something. Had some McDonald's breakfast, threw up, uh, went back to the place. And this place was some shit place when I was like super new to London. And the walls were like built in such a shit way. They were like wooden walls to separate this big room into like 2 rooms so they could like sell more rooms for like a Jewish fucking landlord or some shit to make more money. There were free Italian guys in the other room, and the walls were so shit you could just like look through this gap between the wooden fucking panels. It was that fucking bad, and you could hear everything that was going on in the other fucking room. So anyway, as I was going back into the room, these three Italian guys opened the door and said, come in," and they wanted to talk to me, like some ridiculous hour in the fucking morning. And they pulled out a plate of cocaine, and I never seen cocaine in my entire life or since. I'm not a fucking drug guy. I may look like I'm on drugs all the time, but I've been asked by bouncers, "Are you on drugs?" I'm just like, "No, I just look like this." And anyway, they pulled out this fucking plate of cocaine. I was like, what the fuck? And they started celebrating snorting all this cocaine off this like China plate. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like I'm so yeah, just like Marcus was saying, I'm like a kid watching a horror movie. All this shit is new to me, and they offered me cocaine. I was like, no, I'm not ever gonna fuck with that shit. But I just like watched them snort it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And they were asking me about everything. That was just a weird fucking experience.
This is the
Dealing
second
with
mention
that.
of cocaine ice. Is there something you want to tell us, bro? Like
Eh,
an
no, no,
addict
no, no, no.
there, or
I forgot to
no?
mention though, while I was pulling them to the place, one of them started like grabbing my balls from behind for some on waiting for the underground train on the platform. There was some guy just like staring at me like, what the fuck is he okay? And the other one was just like fully making out with me while the other one was grabbing my balls aggressively behind. I was like, is she fucking trying to rob me or some shit? They were just fucking playing around. Anyway, yeah. That's just a fucking weird one. But anyway, next question. Yeah, I definitely don't do drugs. And if you think I'm lying, I'm not lying. I'm just normally pretty fucked in the head anyway.